Give him the forecast.
Omega level threat detected.
Ancient sands, heed my command and reclaim these relics of hatred!
Girl. Like, I'm trying to wrap my head around, like, I've pinched myself. I have splashed water on my face. I have set fire to rain. Hello, God. I have done everything that I can to check and see if I am indeed in a dream or nightmare, alternate fucking reality. Okay? Am I in another universe? Am I dead? And my consciousness is just floating, hovering in the ether of someone else's experience. And each and every time I'm reminded that, bitch, you are indeed awake. This is not a dream. This is not a night. Well, it's definitely a nightmare, but not in that sense. It is a real life nightmare. Survival of the fittest. This is literally like if post-apocalyptic movies, you know, even though they're like, you know, extremely creative, fictional, borderline fictional, but let's just tell the truth, very real possibilities. And I believe like this is like the origins, like a apocalypse origins. Like this is like the beginning of that, you know? And we're living it. We are reminded that, girl, the fantasy, hello God, the lie that we are indeed a democracy, it's no longer an opinion. Hello God, it's no longer subjective. It is real. It is very, very, very real that we, our voices, our votes, they do not matter. It is what George Carlin used to talk about all the time, may he rest, the illusion of choice, the illusion that you have the power in the multitudes to decide who runs this country. And when you have people like Donald Duck exercising the literal power of a dictator, a lot of the stuff he's doing, nobody asked for. And we didn't ask for it because it's not based in reality. My thing is this, though. When people talk in such a way that Donald Duck talks, right? The grandiosity of it all, the delusions of grandeur, hello God, of it all. When do we stop and say, oh, we're dealing with a psychopath, a sociopath? Someone who, because his ideologies add up to a lot of the delusional fuckers, mostly white peoples, and the very rich right? You have to look at these people. This is classic, you know, sociopath vibes, cult leader vibes. Look here, y'all. I'm all down for a bitch who keeps it real, but I need my presidents presidential, professional. I need them to speak in such a way, with care, with grace, with thought, with tact. Hello, God. To know for sure, okay, you do got people's best interest at heart. I need a president that is fully aware, who is intellectually, inclined, someone who speaks again in a way that brings confidence, assurance, reassurance to the hundreds of millions of people they are supposed to preside over. Someone who spews out not just misleading, hello God, wrong information to fit a certain narrative. And what's even more dangerous, and we talked about this before, is that when we start dealing in the pits of foolishness, pulling out bullshit from our asses, you're speaking of things with no basis in facts. Hello, God. That is dangerous. Now, if you were the general manager of McDonald's, that's fine, girl. But you are the commander in chief. You are the leader of the alleged free world. But you crucify Kim Jong-un, hello, God. You criticized Fidel Castro. Oh, girl. I apologize, girl. You know what they say. If it ain't white, it ain't right. It's okay when you're white. Then it's right. Oh, okay. But anybody else, any other leaders of the world, girl, their own nations, countries and things, right? They can't do what you do because it's not white. Girl, please. Think about our history, how we condemn these alleged dictators, because girl, let's tell the truth, we don't really know. America is well known for its fraudulence and its need to push false narratives, girl, to get the people riled up. We talked about that as it relates to Gaddafi. The sinister way y'all sit around here and create fear from falsehoods, from stories catered to push your propaganda so that people in the court of public opinion, because we know that rules supreme over the girls. If the people hate you, even though they're misguided as fuck because they don't have all the information, most, if all of it, is wrong and falsified. That is real power, y'all. Do y'all not understand that? That is real. To psychologically fuck you in a way that you will turn on someone without having all the facts is crazy work. And it shows how we all deserve exactly, not all, because girl, me, I'm a third eye thinker, hello God. A lot of y'all, but not y'all, but y'all. Shout out to Roddy, hello God. Y'all, we don't fall for the foolishness. But we come in very little. We are the few. The many are the retards who don't do any kind of research whatsoever. Don't even try to type in a Google search, girl. You just go with what the media tells you. Just go with what Donald Duck tells you. Donald Duck not too long after his address, was proven wrong on so many levels right after, fact-checked. So we're just going to go ahead and we're going to allow this man and you know what? It's intentional. When you just look at the tariff situation, Canada said, girl, please. You know, Mexico's closed their borders. China's not worried about shit because, girl, the prime minister said, girl, we are not worried about nobody else but us. And that's why China is so successful in everything that they do, because they're not worried about everybody else. They're worried about themselves. And when we start getting into that bag, we see what could become. Period. But you see, you know what? Y'all love America so bad, girl. But look what y'all let happen. And it's the diehard patriots that are going to sit here and let someone who is non-patriotic bring America down. Girl, we're going to be in the Stone Age soon. I thought life was about progress. Progress meaning moving forward. Hello, God. But we're just sliding on back. And I think it's intentional. All of this is intentional. And they've been telling us for a long time, girl. They've been telling us a long time. Shit, I've been telling y'all a long time. But obviously, you know, I'm a smaller creator, and most videos like this either get shadow banned, and because I don't have the following, hello God, it's not viewed widely like that. I appreciate all the views that come to these very real conversations that we have over here down to the YB Speaks Truth platform, bitch. But we got to tell the truth. There's not many people out here having these conversations on this level. And my fears are actually about to come reality, because the implications for the future, girl, like we are literally tearing down. We're allowing this man to tear down every single thing in this country, shredding it down to its last atom. It's giving Thanos. You're literally trying to create the world in your own image. This God complex is very dangerous. We've seen this before. It does not end well. And the thing that kills me the most is that we get on these podiums, right? And we spew all of this foolishness. But when we look at the law, when we look at the Constitution that is above all the girls, even the Supreme Court can't change shit. They can only interpret. And we know the forefathers were a bunch of dumbasses, right? So they left a lot of shit open for interpretation. They weren't specific enough about certain shit, which in a lot of ways has been a good thing, a saving grace. Hello, God. The fact that we are allowed to amend things as time moves forward and our realities change. Amen. I'm grateful for that. So there is a good reason. I'm glad the forefathers were retarded in a lot of ways. It has benefited us in this country that there has been some open-ended shit, but there's also a lot that goes against us in that regard. One of the things that I really took away from Donald Duck's address, the cop killer thing. Oh, and yes, we're about to go there. I haven't stood on this hill in a little while. Heavy emphasis on the death penalty for people who kill cops. What? Murder is murder. I don't care who it's done to. It should all be treated the same, but with due process, with an understanding of the facts. Not when a lot of these law enforcement agencies, hello gone, have the ability and the connections, the capability, the lack of soul and heart for the communities that they serve. They will go to great lengths to cover up, to get rid of or plant evidence, to push the narrative that always will make them be free. We know that there is corruption, heavy corruption in law enforcement, in government, every damn where when you think about it. But the people with the most types of power, you'll notice there's way more corruption in those fields. We see it all the time. When the shit actually gets to hitting the fan and these investigations are done, you find out that, girl, your government positions, all these girls committing fraud and all of these, cops that are, doing side hustles and side deals and, bargaining and getting paid by way of drug dealers, cartels. Why do you think a lot of people don't trust the Mexican government? Because, bitch, the cartels run them, period. But in these cases, you have a lot of people who get in these positions of power, such as law enforcement, that way that they can utilize their biased, hello gone, their racist bias to inflict pain and harm onto people. Look at all the people who, I don't want to call out everybody, but when Donald Trump got into the office the first time around, do you know how many Proud Boy, hello gone, racist homophobes joined Border Patrol? And I always thought, to join any level of law enforcement, I don't give a fuck, girl, if you are a security guard down to the bank. Aren't you trained in how to be objective and deal with people, equally, to leave your biases at the door? We don't see that in law enforcement at all, especially when we talk about our local, police departments and sheriff's offices, how they deal with their black and brown public, the communities in which they have made an oath, girl, to protect and serve. But look who y'all hire. And a lot of these hires aren't even in the communities in which they actually live. I'm from Florida. I see a lot of these sheriffs and police officers on the road that live in whole other counties and cities. So you're not even living, you don't even understand the community in which you actually serve, let alone what other biases you may possess along the way in your career. So it's scary to think that there is this man who keeps pushing for basically nothing already happens to law enforcement when they abuse their power, when it's blatantly obvious. We got videos after videos after videos after videos, testimony, all this shit, all these lawsuits, all this shit. Get out of here, bitch. All these lawsuits and all this shit, right? Public record, plastered on everyone's social medias for years and years and years. Nothing happens to these criminals that are law enforcement when they abuse their power, when they're obviously, blatantly disrespectful to the communities they sworn to protect and serve, leading with racial bias, actual hate in their heart for the people they're supposed to be protecting. We keep spewing this foolishness of innocent until proven guilty, but girl, show me the evidence of that. I see none. I feel none. Period. So to continue with this foolishness, this campaign to just let law enforcement to do what the fuck they want to do when they want to do it without any consequences? Do you know how many people right now with hate in their heart for people of color that have the white supremacy ideology are applying right now to work in law enforcement because of this? Do you not realize the amount of black deaths that are going to skyrocket over the next 4 years because of this? It's already too high. It's only going to increase. So I just wonder, like, I don't know. I just, you just always think to yourself, like, wow, like, when Jane Elliott did that experiment all those years ago, and she had all the white people, you know, she asked all the white girls, you know, how many of you would switch places with a black person? No one raised their hand. And that proved the point that lets you know that you're heavily aware of what black people go through and you don't want to experience what they go through. It's just another, you know, fancy way of just saying, girl, you know, walk a mile in a bit's shoes. Would you? And the fact that people would say no. It's so simple, but it speaks volumes. You turn a blind eye. You don't, as long as it's not you being treated that way. But no one chooses what they're born into, how they're born, what they're going to look like, what they're going to act like. No one chooses that. That's the crazy thing, right? You think that knowledge alone, that truth alone, that simple truth alone would be enough to end this, you know, racist ass fucking universe that we live in. So you see injustice, you see what people of color go through, and you yourself wouldn't want to experience that. Therefore, you know, but you still choose to inflict that on others, knowing that you wouldn't feel comfortable if that was done unto you? Girl, please. So I say, Donald Duck, like, you could have been born a black dude. Your kids could have been born of color. You wouldn't have been able to choose that. So knowing what our stories are, the things that we've had to experience, and I know, and let's just tell the truth too, like, you're president, you're not blind to the issues of the world. You're not blind to the issues in your own backyard. I don't care how rich a person is or how far removed they are. Girl, if you're in politics, I guarantee you've heard a story or two. And then you see the news, you watch the news like everybody else. You see the evidence where people are literally being pulled over for no apparent reason other than the fact that they are of color. They have seasoning. It's just a really disturbing thought. Actually, it's a reality. And it's just unfortunate that we as Americans have just been so brainwashed and fed all of this toxic trash throughout our human experiences to the point where we're just so docile. Girl, hamsters have more fucking will than we do. That's the crazy part. We talk about how highly intelligent and blah, 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 and the human spirit. Girl, no. We're just a bunch of weak cunts. Because to sit around here and let this happen is ridiculous. I just, like, where are the... I'm sorry, girl. Y'all give the president way too much power. Legally speaking, I'm just really shocked that he hasn't been charged with crimes against humanity yet. And then the very, harsh reality that we talked about last time as it pertains to the UN. He's trying to pull us out of there. Elon Musk is pushing for it. You know what's crazy is that when these 4 years are over, the person that comes behind him, oh girl, because if you think JD Vance has a chance, girl, girl, let's just tell the truth, girl. Like, girl, to think, girl, like, girl, if y'all let him up in there, girl, that's a DEI hire, girl. I don't care what y'all talk about, girl. That man is mentally challenged, girl. I trust the girls down to the Publix bagging my groceries to lead this country, girl. Hello, God. Shout out to the girls down to Publix, the special needs girls. Let me tell you something, honey. I will let them, bitch, run this motherfucking country before we allow a JD Vance. Girl, please. Donald Duck just needed someone. Every time, it's always some submissive cunt. It's always some, even, what was the other guy's name who was made to look like a pure fucking fool? I forgot his name. We don't even remember her. What's her name, girl? The last one that she was with, girl? The one who had to keep switching sides, girl, because the girls was raining holy hell upon her fucking stupid ass. We forgot her name already, girl. And now you got JD Vance, girl, please. He's not in every one of his cabinet, a bunch of fools and followers. Scared to be fired. That's so crazy to me. You guys are, you are not serving the president. You serve the people. I know they say it's a pleasure to serve or whatever. No, it's a pleasure to serve the people. So the fact that we have something so dangerous as someone who commands the type of fear, let's be known, when you guys are in a situation room, no one's gonna have the balls to say, no, this is not a good idea. Marco Rubio, as the Secretary of State, you deal with foreign policy. So again, the fact that you were sitting like melted ice cream in the Oval Office as President Zelensky was being disrespected to the max, and you didn't speak up to try to preserve, hello God, the relationship, lets me know that you are in his pocket. You've always been in his pocket. All of you are. And everyone who, including myself, that is complaining about the appointed individuals to very powerful positions, CIA directors, FBI directors, and, all of the different positions in his cabinet and administration. You got to think about it. He's fulfilling promises made. The quid pro quo of it all, girl. Do me, I do you. That's why you see a lot of fools in these roles. They got him there. Now he's fulfilling the deal, the agreement. And also in that agreement is, I will reign supreme over the girls. I'm in charge of the girls. And anyone that defies me will be fired. What, again, a president is supposed to be unbiased and completely, totally objective. Instead, we have someone who is the complete opposite of what the requirements are to be a leader. He lacks couth. He lacks empathy. He lacks compassion, understanding. He lacks the ability to be a forward thinker. A progressive thinker, same shit. He lacks the humility, which in my opinion is paramount for any type of leader. Because when you feel as if you know it all. When you, especially someone who starts everything with emotion. We've seen his temper. We see how outlandish and outrageous he can get. He leads with emotion. And again, we have the conversation of y'all are so scared of women being president because of that very thing. But we see that with our president. Again, no tact, no couth, no awareness. He's not trying to understand you. It's either his way. And his way is dangerous. His belief systems and ideologies are dangerous. And I'm sick and tired of the news reporters and the media's being the one to fact check him, and no one of any real power is checking him. But again, I think it's all, fear mongering is real. That's how a lot of dictators rule. That's how they, continue on their fucking sprees of hate. I'm gonna need someone. I need the Supreme Court. You're the highest court in the land. The president can appoint. Well, he doesn't actually appoint you. It's really, I believe the Senate, the Congress have to kind of like do the final tally to approve you. But I'm letting y'all know now. This is very dangerous. A lot of, and the crazy, and how even more dangerous it is that they're reporting that, I believe they said 73% of Americans approved of his address. I really appreciate these numbers because that will let you know, especially us, people of color, girl, that most, if not all, of the bitches in this country despise our existence. Whether spoken out loud or kept secret in their little hateful heads, that number is staggering. If you agree, and I'm going to tell the truth, even people of color, because I know there's some of y'all out there that agree with him, you are enemies of progress. You are enemies of your own community. You are anti-life, in my opinion. You're anti-humanity, in my opinion. I'm still going to continue to say what I've been saying. Donald Duck and people in that cabinet, his administration, including Elon Musk, need to be held. Hello, God. A warrant needs to be issued for their arrest by the United Nations for crimes against humanity. America needs to also draw up articles of impeachment. They also need to issue their own warrant for arrest, crimes against humanity. And I want to speak on this before we get out of here because this pre-workout is working its work. When we have someone that is talking about Gaza in such a way, the question that I have is, what the fuck gives you the right, the gall, to speak about Gaza the way that you do, as if it is a property acquisition, as if you are just, it's a business deal? Do you not see the devastation that Israel brought upon Gaza? Do you not have a heart? I think we've already established you have no empathy. You have no understanding or compassion for other people. And I just wonder, do you know that just makes your family unsafe in the real world? There's gonna come a time where what you've done as president, it obviously affects very real people, but to the point where one day your kids and their kids are going to have to probably change their last name and move to Yugoslavia or somewhere, bitch. Because someone that has been affected by your treasonous ways, your racist fucking ways, your bigotry, your hate and disgust for human beings, you will feel that at some point, whether directly or indirectly. But speaking of Gaza, there's no, girl, what are we talking about? Even here, down to the house, girl, you sitting over here having no compassion for that plane incident in the military helicopter. Like, you don't even care about the people here at home. You definitely don't care about nobody else overseas. And I just would love people, if we could get like a public situation where we have someone of real power and that knows the laws and the Constitution and what the president can and cannot do. We need that interview, because we need to set him straight and let him know, you do know that you can't do anything. You can't dictate over this country, let alone other countries. Who the fuck do you think you are? Who is telling you and giving you this inflated sense of ego? I just want to know. Because the way in which this man walks around as if he is the T and there's nothing above him. Bitch, no, that's not how this works. You can't go to Gaza. You can't purchase Gaza. You can't do shit to Gaza. I don't even think if you can even step foot in Gaza. I'm just saying though, girl, like, it's just at some point we have to, what are we gonna do? Tell the truth. What the fuck are we really gonna do here? Because it's getting to the point where it was already serious, and now we are definitely like at the precipice of what could literally define our future. And you know what kills me even more is when I see videos of people that are fact-checking Trump, and then you have the Trump supporters who are obviously a bunch of cousin fuckers, and bitch, your bloodlines have been so diluted with filth and retardation, girl, to the point where when people are speaking logic to you, they are providing clarity to things, facts. Hello, God. You guys don't know anything. You don't have a rebuttal. You don't have a proper rebuttal. And let's take it even further. You know, when the president is on these podiums spewing foolishness and nonsense out of his mouth, he's not speaking in facts. He's not speaking in having the knowledge or the intellectual wherewithal of a situation. Just like the presidents don't write their speech, a lot of times what President, Donald Duck is spewing out of his mouth is shit that he's seen in fucking news articles or the title of something. He's not even being there. I don't even know what his people are doing, because I feel like if you work for the president, girl, you need to be making sure that everything you give him is rooted in facts, not lies, because at the end of the day, it looks bad for him and it looks bad for everybody. Because when the fact checkers do come, and they come, hello God, y'all gonna be using that little young white bitch to talk her bullshit even more, because girl, look at the face of her. I know a lot of y'all like her, but girl, let me tell you something. I don't really care for press secretaries, because they're just the mouthpiece of the administration they serve. They do not serve the American people. They serve the administration that brought them on. And I trust no one who, even with old fish from the Biden administration, girl, the foolishness that used to come out of her mouth, girl, please. And I don't care who you, if your administration is, because let's just tell the truth, Biden's administration was foolish too. But nothing compared to what we're seeing now. But this is who y'all wanted, girl. So we're about to suffer in ways unimaginable. And it's going to trickle down. And I just think that it's something is happening here that's intentional. I'm going to leave it on this note. I truly believe that we will be having a civil war pretty soon. Especially when we begin to experience what all of these tariffs and border wars are going to be looking like soon. We're going to feel it. We're really going to feel it. And the people that suffer are going to be the people that's always suffered. And that's what's hard about it, because since Carisha, even before Carisha, let's tell the truth, the black and brown communities have just been disadvantaged, rooted out, hunted down, and just pushed to the edge of where we're all about to go fucking insane, to be honest with you, because like the stress of it all is a lot. It's gonna get even more. Again, I do believe there's a bigger plan here. You can't tell me that this bitch just came out swinging. It hasn't even been a full 3 months yet. I do believe that there's that this is a plan that's been happening. I did not read the what was that shit called? 2025 something. I forget what it was called. This whole booklet and manifesto on, you know, white supremacy and, you know, the things that they threatened to do if they did win this race. And I do feel like they're implementing that. It's happening. A lot of things that are being allegedly approved. Let's tell the truth. We don't know if that's a real an official approval, because we know, if we know what the fuck we're talking about here, a lot of the shit that President Donald Duck is, you know, talking about, I just signed this. You can sign anything all day long, but that doesn't mean it's going into law. Most of things, especially if it affects the American people in mass, needs to be approved by Congress, especially if there's a price tag attached to whatever it is the proposal is. So a lot of that bullshit he's talking about, you know, I just signed this, that doesn't really mean shit. And I need more people to speak on that. Because he's making it seem like everything he says is the tea. It's not the tea. There's a process. I believe Jasmine Crockett and AOC have been talking about that extensively as of late. There is a process. Stop believing the foolishness that is being spewed out of this orange bitch's mouth. But it lets me know too that these are things that were being drafted up while he was on the campaign trail, probably long before that. Because you can't tell me that this man didn't steal his way into this election as well either. I'm still trying to understand how it is possible for someone who has been convicted and who has all of these fucking felonies, most of which have to deal with him fraudulently stealing an election, inciting civil war, race wars. And now we're turning our backs on longtime allies and friends. What are we going to do when we're alone? Or is that what's supposed to happen? Or is this like some President Snow shit? It's definitely giving, you know, Hunger Games vibes. And then I have no choice but to believe that the democracy is done. It's out the door. It's been done. It never existed, because we allow these types of things to transpire that can have heavy, heavy, heavy implications and consequences to our future as Americans. So for all of you so-called patriots, your patriotism is obviously rooted in, you know, bias. Hello, God. And how I know that to be true, because real patriots, you don't pick the side of a person. You don't pick the side of ideology and all this other foolishness. You pick the side that better serves humanity. All humanity, not just white humanity. All humanity. So when I notice that, and you call yourselves patriots, no, you guys are terrorists. Tell the truth. And I want to let everyone know this too. I don't give a fuck what the federal level talks about as it relates to law enforcement having fucking impunity, girl. When it comes to unaliving folks for no goddamn reason, you guys just need to be making sure that your local situations are taken care of. That your local, your state Supreme Courts, your city leaders and things of that nature, that you're at least exercising your voices and your power as a community to ensure that you guys are checking these bitches. Because I'm still saddened to be seeing videos. I'm still saddened to see a lot of the ways in which black and brown people are still being treated in this country by their local law enforcement. It's fucking ridiculous. My nephew is actually dealing with that right now where he goes to college. Every time him and his friend step out, they're getting pulled over just for being black. It got to the point my nephew said, I don't even want to spend spring break here because their local fucking sheriff did this whole fucking conversation piece about how he didn't want their kind in their city during spring break. He will arrest you just because. So we're getting into that phase where people, like a long time ago, a sheriff would never, a person would never, but because Donald Duck is in office yet again, those people are not scared to come out of their racist closets anymore. And you fuck with mine, let me tell you something, girl. Not only will you have to deal with the many lawsuits that I will place upon your ass, after it's all said and done, let me tell you something. I know this is controversial, but Trayvon Martin's parents, girl, I love y'all down. I respect you, and I'm sorry you had to go through what you had to go through. But the way how the dust is settled, why hasn't an assassin taken out George Zimmerman yet? I'm just saying, though, like, people probably do it for free. So you hurt my nephew or anybody that I love and care about like that because you're leading with racial bias and hate. Well, when we're done suing the entire fuck out of you in your everlasting existence, I'm gonna wait a couple of years and trust and believe. You thought you were good, but you're not. I will be on you like Batman, bitch. Period. Anyway, y'all, I just felt like I had to come down here and serve a little truth and justice. Drop that in the comments. Let me know what your thoughts are, girl. Like, this is some real shit. The implications are serious. The consequences could be dire. I'm just letting you know. Be prepared, girl. And also, save your money, bitch, the best you can, because girl, it's about to get tight as a motherfucker out here. Tighter than virgin booty hole. It's been a long time. Anyway, take care, y'all. Bye.